And there is Lance Armstrong. News on Lance Armstrong this morning. The fallout from his doping scandal continues. He is out as a sponsor at Nike. He has stepped down from the top spot at his own cancer fundraising society. Vanessa O'Connell, Reed Albergotti here. You guys have the story. We're going to talk about this. Let's talk first about his cancer fundraising efforts and what that means. 15 years he's been on this. He's raised a lot of money. This can't be good for that, right?
It's a very sad day at the foundation in Austin. You know, this is Lance's baby, and they very much identified the foundation with Lance. And now, you know, it's going to be a very sad day down there. I mean, they have appointed a new chairman, Jeff Garvey, who is a private equity guy from Austin that was involved in helping get the foundation off the ground. But, you know, the question is, without Lance Armstrong, how much more difficult will it be for the foundation to raise the funds that it needs? It has done a lot of good fundraising work.
Yeah, I would think actually it's going to be hard. I mean, the issue is obviously bigger than Lance Armstrong, right? Raising money for cancer research. But he was the face of that. He
was, and it is a very unique foundation in its savviness about marketing and reaching the public. So, you know, it has had momentum in the past. Now the question is, what's next for the foundation?
Rita, so you want to jump in there?
Well, Vanessa, I mean, don't you think that it's moved on past beyond Lance Armstrong over the years? I mean, we all know the yellow bracelets. They say Livestrong. People refer to the charity as Livestrong. And you talk to people who have those yellow bracelets on, it's not as much about cycling or Lance Armstrong as it is about, you know, their family members and wanting to show that they support, you know, this fight against cancer. I mean, I think it'll carry on. I mean, I think it has grown beyond just an athlete's charity.
Let's talk about Nike for a second. Nike dumped Lance this morning as one of their spokespeople. Not the first time an athlete's fall from grace has affected a product or a manufacturer like that. What does this do for Nike?
Well, I mean, I think it's really surprising, actually, that Nike dropped him. I mean, this thing isn't quite over yet. The International Cycling Federation hasn't actually officially stripped him of his titles and banned him for life. So for Nike to actually take a proactive measure and say, you know what, the evidence, they actually said in their statement, the evidence is really strong. We're dropping this athlete. It's rare, and you know, I think it actually it may signal a shift in Nike's strategy, which in the past has been to stand by athletes no matter what. I mean, until they were literally in prison, you know, in the case of Marion Jones. So, you know, I think it's an interesting move.
And Nike and Lance were very intertwined. Nike sponsored Lance Armstrong as a cyclist. It sponsored Lance Armstrong as a triathlete after he retired from cycling. It has a deal to license the Livestrong brand for Livestrong merchandise, and it sponsored his former cycling teams. So the relationship between Nike and Lance Armstrong goes a little deeper than a typical sponsorship.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned Lance Armstrong doing the triathlons. I mean, he's not cycling anymore, but he's still active. Talk to me for a second. What does this do for him, his legacy?
Well, he has been banned from certain triathlons, for instance, the Ironman, which is something he was actually doing well in prior to having been banned. And so he is limited in the races he can enter, but he has been actively looking to enter the races to essentially show he's still out there. The triathlon was his way of, you know, was one way that he was making a living, essentially, after retiring from cycling. So the ban from being able to participate in the Ironman, for instance, must be quite painful for him.